All right, people, I'm back at it again with one of my new boys, someone that is new to me, a complete stranger from the internet. How about you introduce yourself?
Oh, what's up, man? I'm Danny. Met you through Funny. How are you?
Can't
Good lad to
complain,
be
can't
here.
complain. I can't complain, It's all about good times and good vibes. So tell me,
Yeah, for real, man.
all right, so we're going to start with the most vanilla questions out there. What are some of your hobbies? We're going to start real quick.
I've played soccer for most of my life. I stopped for a little bit when I tore my meniscus and my calf muscle a few years back, but I've been getting back out there. And then I also do a lot of photography, a little bit of music production here and there, but like SoundCloud garbage type shit. So.
Photography, ooh. Hey, be honest. As a photographer, does it annoy you when like a bunch of people just say, "Oh, you want to take pictures of my stuff, free charge"?
Well, yeah, it can be annoying. So I'm currently like actually in Montreal for university. I'm like from the US originally. So I have pretty much no established network here like I had back where I was from. So I haven't really been doing much work actually. I've more just been doing like nature photography instead because it's sort of like you said, dealing with people, having them ask for free shit, like reduce prices, change plans. I just got really sick of dealing with them, so I just switched from uh, people to pretty much nature photography exclusively.
Because I know from my own personal experience, when I was really into art, specifically like realism, I would draw realistic pictures of celebrities or people for as a hobby. Right? It was specifically for a class. I was in a multimedia art class, and
Oh yeah, yeah, yeah.
for one of my projects, I had to draw a celebrity. So I drew a picture of Eminem. I would put it up right now, but I literally do not know how to edit, and I do not have the picture anymore. And I remember I showed it to my family. My uncle goes, "Oh, you want to draw me?" I'm like, "Yeah, of course. It's only like $15." And he looks at me like
Yeah.
he's never seen me before. He's like, "What do you mean?"
The most alien expression.
Like as if like I'm a complete stranger. I'm like, "This is gonna take at least like 5 hours. You know that, right?"
Yeah, it's just I didn't run into as much of that as I expected. I'd say my best story from working as a photographer for like people and events and all that was the first person who ever hired me was like some mom. I was still in high school. I did like a birthday party for a 3-year-old. Uh, $20 an hour, few hours. She gave me like a nice tip too. It was like a very basic job, but years later, and I'm doing like much bigger jobs. Like I was doing like bar mitzvahs. I was making like a couple $100 an hour doing photography, and all those years later, I was still doing her daughter's birthday parties for $20 an hour. I like never changed the price. I never
Well, I mean, how many
because
hours
I
was it?
couldn't.
That was probably at
It was
least like
only it
four
was only
hours.
no for a kid's birthday party. It was like 5 or 6. It was like 3 hours. It was, and she'd usually give me like $75 or something for it. But like she was my first client, and it never ever felt. Or even as like my equipment got better, and I was like a more established person, and I could charge more. It just, you know what I mean? It didn't feel right. She was the first person who ever
Yeah.
hired me. Like if it wasn't for her,
Plus,
I'd never.
plus, there's a high chance of losing her as a customer if you jump the prices up just because you're more established now.
Yeah, exactly. It was like a combination of like good business and just like I good morals. I wouldn't
Yeah.
say good morals, but I couldn't do that to her. It
I
was
mean, yeah,
just she
because
was
like
too
once
sweet.
you have a bond with a customer and I wouldn't say company since it's more of your solo thing. I'd say an
Yeah,
entrepreneur, I guess. Once you have like that
good word.
bond, it's like it's something that stays established. Like barbers. Like let's be honest, like people like especially with guys, we go to the same barber since like we were kids.
Yeah,
And like my barber place, even though he like bumped the prices up, I still pay what I paid when I was a kid. A normal haircut and beard at that barber place is like $45. I still pay the same $20 that I paid when I was a kid. And of course, I always tip good. I always tip like at least $10.
yeah, exactly. No, it's I've got like I've always got like a thing like especially at one-off businesses, whether it's like I'm the customer or somebody is my customer. Like actually in my hands right now, I just picked it up as we were talking about this. I've got this wooden like hand carved Swiss Army knife with my name engraved on it that owner of like a little diner I used to go to before school like at least 3 times a week
Mm?
get breakfast. Like he gave that for me as a gift, and it's
Yeah,
just like you know,
cool.
yeah, no, this shit's sick. It's got a bottle opener and
Yeah,
everything. I was like,
and I feel personally with those gifts, you keep them the longest because the one they show your growth as a person. You know, it's like a time stone. And two, it's just
yeah,
because this was a gift from somebody that at one point was a complete stranger that you got to know now.
yeah. I mean, yeah, it's funny. It's funny to think about. Fun fact, he actually has same first name as me too.
Oh,
So yeah, but no, I mean, it's always funny to think about those things like as sort of time progresses, and you just said time capsules, and just sort of made me think back to like high school and all that shit. Obviously, it's not too long ago, but it's just like, especially with COVID, it feels like really so much has changed in the last few years.
yeah, bro.
Like, what would you say is like the biggest change you had in your life in the last like 2 years?
College, college for
Yeah,
sure. I,
you went for you started.
yep. COVID hit
Hey,
during the second half of my senior year, and now I'm a sophomore in college.
damn.
Like
Okay.
that's just a crazy way to like represent. Like I was in high school when COVID hit, and now I'm almost halfway done with college, and it's still here.
Yeah, no, that's like it's crazy to think about. I got lucky in that I got through high school before COVID came, and I got most of the way through my first year before it, but I mean at the end of the day, bro, the border closed. I wasn't able to get back home. And I was stuck living in a new country where I don't speak the first language.
Yeah.
I was living with five straight. I don't speak a word of French. I'm starting to learn, but nothing, no link to it.
Oh,
But
you don't speak. Oh, France. I don't know
uh,
why. I just realized.
Quebec.
Yeah, France.
Yeah, the French is strong in Quebec. If you don't know it, they give you a dirty look.
Oh yeah, France is like
Yeah.
the people that speak French. They're like really prideful about it.
Yeah, they always are, but like yeah, I mean, I was literally I was stuck there. I was living with five strangers. The oldest was a 36. I was 19 at the time. And I mean, yeah, I spent like 2 years, didn't get to see my family, didn't get to see my parents. You
Yeah,
know, it, it,
I
it
get
was a
that.
rough time.
Thankfully for me, I live with my grandparents, right? So
Okay.
like not really much changed. I mean, I started living with them because specifically COVID. Before this, I lived with my parents, but like I don't know, my family is like very complicated. Like parents divorced when I was a baby. My grandparents raised me. Yada yada yada. So like really, both of them count as a home for me. So when COVID
Yeah.
hit, it was literally like, all right, so I guess I'm living in house number two now.
Yeah. No, it's yeah, it's definitely it's just been really weird, and now I don't know about you, where I am just announced a new round of lockdowns.
Yeah, oh, yeah, because of that Delta, whatever.
Omicron, fucking the
Oh yeah,
anagram
bro.
for moronic is really fitting in this one. Like,
Isn't it funny though that like the I don't know. I feel like it's dumb, but I know why they did it. But like they skipped over the name it was supposed to be because the name was like the Chinese name, and like people were like a bunch of rednecks were already calling it the Chinese virus or whatever it was called.
yeah, no. People have a habit of doing that. It's just like if they have some glimpse of idea where the virus comes from, they
Like
just name the
Ebola.
virus after that.
Like oh
Yeah,
my
there
god,
was
I was in
Ebola.
middle
Oh my
school
God,
when Ebola
Spanish
was
flu.
out. Oh my god, I forgot all about the Spanish flu, bro. Like people that were Hispanic were gotten such dirty looks, bro.
Yeah, I remember fucking it's just crazy. I don't know what exactly about COVID. Like I don't want to get into this whole controversial topic because COVID is so touchy for so many people, but I don't know what made it so much difference than like you know how we had H1N1
Yeah.
at the end of the 2000s. It was like 2008, 2009, right?
Mm-hmm.
Uh I remember, I mean that was affecting young people, especially like 13 to 15-year olds.
Yeah.
There was like all this shit about it. I don't even remember people wearing masks. I remember that they were like, okay, everybody get,
I think the reason
get
that
your
one didn't have
vaccines.
I think the reason that one didn't have much of an as much as an impact is just because that one when they were developing the cure for it, they had better higher potential than the COVID vaccine. So with that one, they
Yeah.
were like, "Oh yeah, we'll definitely have the vaccine within like X amount of months." But with COVID, the scientists were literally like, "We have no idea when there's going to be a vaccine. Like, we cannot make any like time sets."
Yeah, it
Like
was just
even Trump during the time, like he was like, "We're gonna hope that scientists can do this as soon as possible. Until then, these are the guidelines." But with the other one, it was like, "We know it'll be within this amount of time, so just try your best until then."
okay. Okay. I mean, to be fair, I was 9 years old at the time. Like,
Yeah,
I didn't have I never looked too much into it. I was never super knowledgeable on that stuff. COVID was weird though. I remember like hearing about it. So, do you want to hear a really interesting COVID story?
I'd love to.
So, before I came to university, like my neighbors back so for like a little backstory, I was born in Pittsburgh, lived there for a good chunk of my life, then moved to Boston before I came to Montreal for uni.
Hmm.
And in Boston, our neighbors were both first generation. Ooh, nearly dropped that. First generation Chinese immigrants from Wuhan.
Mm,
And in October 2019, around that period, they went to Wuhan for a trip. And long story short, they came back and they got really fucking sick.
yeah,
And this is like a month or two before COVID ever got announced to the world as anything.
yeah,
And I mean, my dad got really sick too. My mom got really sick. They had like after effects. Like it was like pretty much the most interesting thing about COVID for me was that it was around so much longer than it was announced, and my parents got it like months before anybody knew what COVID was.
yeah. Honestly, if that had happened like a couple years before COVID became, a name, honestly, 90%, I bet you they would have thought it was like SARS or something.
Yeah, for sure. It's just yeah, and then it was when it first got discovered. I remember just like being in a dorm room with my friends, and we're all just like studying, and I just remember every day I was just like, okay, it's these new countries, and I just knew it was gonna be this big thing. But what am I supposed to do? I'm some stupid fucking 19-year-old kid. Who the fuck's gonna listen to
Yeah,
me?
like what do they expect me to do?
I
Put on my
sound like a conspiracy theorist. Like,
like what
oh,
do they
shut
want
down
me
the
to do,
airports.
bro? Like, well, am I gonna go put my Spider-Man mask on?
Yeah, exactly. Shut down the airports because some 19-year-old kid thinks like some virus is gonna be big. Like what? But yeah, things are
What are you gonna
hopefully
do?
still moving in the right direction. Hospitalizations are much lower on this. The symptoms are much less severe. Let's just hope things move in the right direction.
Yeah, I mean that's all really you can do at this point. Just hope. But what bothers me, I think, the most about COVID is even if like everything got fixed this second, I'm talking about like, all right, we got all the sick people, we fixed them, we're all good, COVID no longer exists. Just with like pricing, manufacturing, accustomed to living, and all that, that's gonna take bare minimum, if we're lucky, 5 to 10 years to get back to normal.
Oh, well, I mean, yeah, exactly. Look at the problem is, and this is what we discovered during the first round of lockdowns, is that our supply chain as a global economy was way more sensitive to minute changes than we realized. And as a result, the global supply chain is just fucked.
Oh yeah,
Like everything from graphics cards to computer chips to chicken strips to fucking
chicken strips.
I mean, yeah, are chicken strips isn't that the latest thing that's like got a shortage now, chicken strips?
I have no idea.
Like that it's just it's crazy. I mean, I recently just ordered myself a PC because I finally caved and I couldn't keep using my old computer, my old
Hmm.
laptop.
Yeah,
Um and I mean, bro, I had to buy a pre-built because you couldn't find a graphics card.
for the life of it. Honestly, I choose to believe that's not from COVID. That's just from dirty scalpers. And
Nah,
and
bro. But
scalpers have
see, there was
existed since time itself.
the problem is that there- it's not scalpers because now even not good graphics cards that wouldn't make scalpers a lot of money in a normal circumstance are getting fucked. Like there's just no graphics cards. It's being exasperated by the lack of chips. It's a mess. And I mean, I already
Well, I
in
mean,
like the
it's also
month I
because
waited.
it's mainly because also like chips aren't made in America, and that can
Oh,
be
for
argued
sure.
for COVID for sure. That one definitely makes sense with COVID. They're not made in America. We need to ship them. We need to move them from other countries, and now people are being super
Yep.
cautious.
Yeah, no, I mean for sure. It's been like it's just been I'm trying to think of the right word for this. It's just been like really intriguing to watch like how everything's gotten so fucked up and how everybody's trying to recover and especially just like on economy scale, it's like I know like a lot of friends and family friends and etc. who just like did not make it through this pandemic financially. Like their
Oh yeah,
business is gone, their livelihood is done. It's like it's rough shit,
it's
man.
just yeah, and it's not like we got anything like oh my god, like I got so annoyed, not because I didn't get a lot of money, but because like when COVID hit, I know I'm talking about like hit, not the first time. They're like, all right, yep, $600 for everybody. Like, bro, what is that? Like 2 weeks of food max if you're stretching it?
Yeah.
Like, this is what you've been doing for the past 6 months. You've been negotiating that.
Yeah, like for example for me, I in Montreal. Now, apparently rent has increased here like 200, 300% the last number of years. And it's one of the most expensive areas in Canada, but it's still ridiculously cheaper than the US. And even then, I think that would not even cover 1 month's rent.
Yeah, not even a month of rent in the U.S. in like a higher state. I'm thinking like Texas and stuff like that. I was actually looking at it a while ago for a project, bro. Like a month of rent in like a 3 room house is still like 2 grand.
Jeez. My my ex in Boston, I think she was paying I want to say I think it was like 1450 each a month
Yeah, it's
for like
fucking
three
crazy.
people,
It's crazy, bro. I mean, Boston is an expensive place to live in general, but still, even that's absurd. That's more than three.
right?
That's literally more than 3 grand.
I know. I couldn't believe like part of what made me want to come to Montreal was um the price. I mean like the cost of living is really it's much lower than anything I was used to and I mean university my second choice I was looking at I had gotten into UVM's business school
Hmm.
and I was also looking at Brown because I had gotten in there but they gave me zero financial aid. So I was looking at 80K a year.
Damn,
Um, yeah, bro.
that's a lot.
UVM would have been like 70. Um, like with the scholarship and the bursary I have, I think I pay 40K a year.
That's a lot.
And if you're from, I mean it might sound like a lot, but it's so much cheaper than anywhere else I could get, and it's a ridiculously good school. Like not to sound like braggy, it's the business school is good and it's got a lot of international connections. It's a very international place,
Hmm.
which is, very beneficial. So that's why I don't mind. And it's just like the only place I could get a full ride was a state school, and I just didn't have. I couldn't do that. Like I couldn't be. I just had to get out of Boston in that area and for away from my high school and all those people.
Yeah, I feel that, bro.
So
Like right
you're
now,
right.
I go to the University of Michigan, right? And
Oh shit!
I was really
My
proud
dad
of
went
that.
there.
Yeah, I mean it's a really good college. It's ranked number 16 in America. And I was so proud when I got in. I didn't get accepted in high school because in high school I had like a 2.4 GPA. So what I did was when I was in community college, I like worked my ass off and I got a 4.0 all 3 semesters, right?
Damn, that's impressive.
It sucked ass, bro.
Oh,
And
totally.
when I got in, they're like, cool, because once you're in college, they don't look at your high school GPA anymore. So they're not gonna say, well, he's a 4.0 student now, but he used to be a this student. They don't care about that anymore. They just say, oh, this is a
Yeah.
4.0 student. So they gave me a scholarship, and I got financial aid because my family doesn't make chicken scratch. Like I'll say it because I really don't mind. It's not like my dad's ashamed of it. He knows he's trying his hardest. He makes less than 20K a year, which does not pay for college and a family. That does not exist.
Nah. Yeah. Honestly, bro.
Especially a main college like the University of Michigan.
Yeah. On it, surprisingly, believe it or not, I actually get where you're coming from. Back when I was younger, my family was really fucking poor.
Yeah,
Back when we were in Pittsburgh, we were in like a shit area. My parents, it was always just a matter of having a job.
yeah,
They were educated, but they
yeah,
had like struggled with some debt, and then it was like getting a job because the market was crap. But
yeah.
we ended
Especially
up
that
living,
'08 crash. That shit was
yeah,
crazy.
and that's around when, yeah, we dipped, and pretty much we lived in my mom's station wagon for around like 6 months.
Hmm.
Um, and my dad ended up getting a job offer at like a literally like a three-person startup in Boston, and he just took it, and it ended up doing fairly well. It's still going strong right now.
Mm,
Um, yeah, and that sort of that like put us in a surprising place financially, where it's like, you know,
yeah,
suddenly it's like we weren't in debt anymore, and suddenly like we had a house, and suddenly we had a car that was ours, like paid off, and all this shit. And my parents were able to save for college. I mean, it was all just luck that the startup did well. If it had done okay, then we would have been in an okay
yeah.
spot.
But
If it
that's
had done shit, we
honestly
would have
that
been in
really
a
is
shit
most.
spot.
I choose to believe luck has a way higher impact
So
in
much,
life.
so much.
Like
Like
people,
there,
like
that,
I agree, skill is very, very important. Like get good grades, do good in school, because it will make your life easier if you want to pursue further in your education, like in college. Like
yeah,
if you get above a 3.5 in high school, you'll get a scholarship. You will.
yeah,
You will have a higher chance at financial aid if you are somebody that needs it. You have higher
yeah.
chances for good things. It doesn't guarantee
No,
it, but it sure as hell puts you at a higher chance than a 2.1 student whose parents make 50K a year.
yeah, no, exactly. Like luck always plays a really significant role. I had an internship over the summer that was the way I got it was the most bullshit thing you will ever hear.
Yeah,
I was so I'm in marketing.
yeah,
So I was looking for companies that need marketing, and I'm looking at video game companies because Montreal's a pretty big gaming hub if you don't know.
yeah,
Um and I see this one company, and they're like literally they're still in like the funding stage. Like their website is for investors, not for people.
yeah.
And so I can only find like a business email. So I start searching around, and after like 30 minutes, I find like the CFO's email online somehow,
Hmm.
and I just email him. Um, was literally like, "Hey, what's up?" And long story short, I got him to like meet and talk with me. He made me sign an NDA just to have that meeting, and I was like, "So what are you like? What's your plans? Like, what do you need on marketing end?" And he's like, "Why do you want to know?" And I was like, "I mean, if you need an intern or anything, I don't know,
Yeah,
just." And they said come back at the end of the semester, and I did, and they were like, "Sure." And I worked at this fucking virtual reality startup.
yeah.
Um,
And that is a
it
prime
was,
example of skill and luck. You put in skill
yeah,
and you learned how to be able to become a good intern for them. You put in skill and effort to try and find this information online. and you got lucky that you were actually able to find it online and get the meeting with them. But you have to
Yeah.
put in skill to
No.
get it.
Yeah, it was a honestly it was a great experience too. I'm gonna plug the company even though I don't work there anymore. They're called Arcadia TV.
Yeah,
Super cool VR shit. They want to combine sports and they want to combine like video game like esports and real sports,
yeah,
like some in virtual reality. And I tried out the tech and it's so insanely cool.
yeah.
But
Like
yeah,
I remember, like at E3 a couple years ago, they had this one like Call of Duty VR thing where they had like this special treadmill that you could run on and like walk around in the game.
exactly. But do you want to know the big thing with this company?
Go for it.
No bullshit. All you need is like the little nunchuck things you hold in your hand
Yep.
and the goggles. And that's it. And with the software they've used and like the everything they have, their whole thing is sort of the software side of it and they're going to use that to their advantage and it's great like 3D mapping. Like if you wanted to do some of their games like with a friend, like all you needed was just like a headset and some things. You don't need any special computers, you don't need to be indoors. Like it's some really cool stuff. They did a promo game for Warner Brothers for Space Jam 2, and like LeBron James reposted our content.
That's sick.
Yeah, so it was a very cool experience. But
I mean, yeah, not to mention that's still experience at the end of the day, you know? Even if the company
oh,
didn't work out in your favor, right? You can still put that on your resume. And that's going to be real for the rest of your life.
bro, like truly, like there's a I know it's obvious, but like that there's a lot you don't learn in university that you do in work, and
Oh yeah.
this was like such a good learning experience. It was daunting though because it was a small company, so there would be times where I was sitting in on meetings and it's like the CEO, the CFO, millions of dollars in investors like on the phone, the head of marketing, and I'm just like an unpaid intern in the corner who's still supposed to like speak and contribute to this meeting.
Yeah.
It,
Like
it was
like my aunt, she's a software engineer for Infineon. It's a German company that
oh
helps makes like the how do I, you know, like in recent cars how like the car will sense if there's something and automatically brake.
oh yeah, like
She
automatic braking.
yeah, like her team specifically works on that stuff, and then they put
Oh,
it in the
that's
cars.
sick.
Yeah, and she goes, and since she's like a high leading position on her team, she gets invited to Germany every year with like a bunch of other high leading people, right? Because it's a German company, and because of her, I got to meet somebody. This is actually no, this was Vector, not Infineon. Excuse me. Um, and I got to meet the CEO of that company, and he gave me his personal number, and he offered me an internship when I was in college if I wanted to do a software engineer, that a paid internship. It would have paid
God damn.
$22 an hour, and
Wow.
he would have signed me off on a contract where they would help pay for my college, and I would have to go work for them when I'm
What?
done, and they would start at pay at 80K a year with benefits like insurance and all
80K.
that.
Bro, I don't care if you hate software.
I
Like
hate it.
you gotta, man.
It's so
You gotta
tedious,
for at
man. I
least a little
can't.
bit. You gotta for at least a little bit. The way I see it is like photography or cars really also are like some of the things I dream about. And all the way I see it is I wasn't gonna get where I wanted to be by being a mechanic. I wasn't gonna get to where I wanted to be by being a photographer. I decided marketing was a good way to get myself in an industry where I could make some money
Hmm.
and do what I want to do.
Yeah. The cool thing about marketing, in my opinion, is that if you become good at it, like a professional at it, you can still loop back around then to the other two because now you can just market yourself.
Exactly, and that was exactly one of the big like thoughts in my head.
Yeah.
Because I don't need to be like super wealthy, like fucking rolling in cash, expensive watches. I just want like nice car that I like, and I
Stability.
want to be able to, and yeah, stability and to be able to like travel and take pictures places. Like
And what's
that's
wrong
the
with that?
dream.
That's perfect. Like for me, I'm in college right now to be an educator. I want to be a teacher.
Oh hell yeah.
And I come from a Middle Eastern family, right? I cannot
Okay, cool.
tell you how many times I've heard the words "there's no money in it." Like, yeah, I'm well aware. I'm not in it
That's
for
not
the
why you become
money.
a teacher.
I'm not in it so I can get stinking rich. I'm in it because I want to teach. I want to help motivate people. I don't want to. I want to be one of those teachers where like kids go to hang out in his room during lunch, right? Because he talks to them, have one-on-ones with them, and they make them feel good.
Oh hell yeah.
I don't
No,
want to be that
I
teacher.
respect that.
Like, you know how many teachers I've had where I've asked them questions about an assignment or something? Like, it's in the book. Google it. All right, cool. Thank you, educator. You're so cool. Radical.
Yep. No, bro, I know exactly what you mean. Like honestly, I don't want to say like probably or I guarantee, but there's like a good chance I might not have graduated high school if it wasn't for one specific teacher I had who like helped me through math specifically. She taught like several years of math, so I had her from like sophomore year to senior year.
Mm-hmm.
And she was so helpful, bro. If I hadn't had her as a teacher, I don't know if I would have
Gone
been
as
able to
far as
like
you did.
understand some of that shit. Yeah, like literally, I wouldn't have been able to get good enough grades to get into my dream school. I wouldn't have, all this shit.
Yeah. Like, and I get so annoyed, like, especially like on iFunny. Like, I'll see like people in the like a meme will be about a teacher, right? And people in the comments saying,
Yeah,
"Boo hoo, you have to talk for a few hours a day. Your job is so hard." Like, yeah, it is. They have to create lesson plans and organize different styles of teaching to help accom different students. A teacher that's bad, sure, you can make the excuse that their job's not hard. A bad teacher's job is easy
yeah,
because they're just straight out the
exactly.
book. But a good
Oh,
teacher's
that's a good
job is
line.
one of the hardest jobs out there. To be able to make a lesson plan for over, I don't know, let's say there's 20 kids in a class, six classes, no, it's actually five classes in a day because they have a prep hour. So what is that? That's
Depends on where you come from. For my
yeah,
high school, there were 7 classes in a day.
exact. That's even worse. So let's just keep the benefit of the
Exactly.
doubt and say only five classes, and let's make it easy to do is only 20 kids a class because I've had classes where there was like 40.
Yeah.
And so like let's say like that, that's 100 kids a day, and a good teacher will make each class lesson accustomed to each kid. You know?
Yeah, for
Do you know
real.
how hard that is?
No, it takes like some serious skill. It takes some serious care. It
Because
takes a lot to do that.
a teacher can't teach each kid individually. There's not enough time in the day, so the teacher has to think of a plan to teach 20 unique kids all in one go.
Yeah, again, man, they don't get the credit they deserve. That teacher I mentioned who helped me through high school. She said she was gonna write a book when she retired about how badly teachers are treated
Yeah, I mean, like,
by parents, administration, even by students sometimes. But she said mainly parents and administration.
it really
Students don't
is
usually.
mainly parents. I've started one of my internships as a student mentor, and I already got a couple emails from parents like, "My son is an angel." Like, no, he ain't. I promise you. I promise you that kid ain't no angel, guy.
Yeah.
As soon as
No,
a
I was.
parent says their kid is an angel, I'm like, cool, this kid is the spawn of Satan. Good to know.
Yeah. I'm glad my parents were never like that. If I was a piece of shit, my parents would just
Out
say,
straight out
"Sorry,
front.
he's a piece of." Yeah, no, exactly. They were like, "No, sorry, he's being a piece of shit," and then, boom,
I
done.
remember one of my favorite
Whooping.
teachers, Mr. Gass. He was an old school teacher. He was an old man, so he was teaching since like the '60s. He's been in the game, right? And like I remember for a conference, like my parents disciplined me, and I'm not gonna be one of those because like, oh, my parents abused me. No, they disciplined me, you know. And like one day, like at parent teacher conferences, I had like four missing assignments, right? And I lied to my parents about it because I'm a high school kid, whatever, right? Kids lie.
Yep.
And they told him was like, my son says blankety blank blank but blank blank about this assignment, and Mr. Gas, no hesitation. That's not what happened. As you can see by the other students' assignments that I have in this folder, that is not what happened. And my dad looked me in the eye And Mr. Gas looked at me and looked at him like, "Ah, those are I'm a whoop you eyes. Ah, I like him."
Bro.
And like, yeah,
That's great.
and I respect him for that.
Yeah, my parents told me after I graduated high school that about 90% of the time I thought I got away with a lie. I didn't. They
They
just knew to
know.
choose
They're
their
not
battles.
stupid. People are like, "Oh, yeah, man, I lied to my parents." They know. They know. I prom. Unless
You
your
know.
parents like are immigrants and they don't have a grasp on English or like how accustomed things are in America, they know. I promise you, they know.
Yeah, no, it was really funny, and I was like, this is kind of scary. I'm gonna try and call their bluff, and I was like, can you name an example? And they were like, remember that time you snuck out and you thought you did it? I went, oh,
Oh no, no.
I literally jumped off of a first story roof to
Hmm?
sneak out.
Oh, I had a rope. I had a rope in my house that I tagged around it.
Why did I never think of getting a fucking rope? Oh my god.
The only reason I knew to get a rope is because my uncle once told me he had a rope. I'm like, that's a good idea.
Yeah,
Yeah.
no, it was really stupid. I never snuck out for good reasons too. I
Oh,
only
yeah, it was
did it
always the
twice.
dumbest things.
No, yeah, I did it 3 times. One was to have a bonfire with friends. One was to go smoke weed under bleachers at my school. And this was only like I had only ever smoked weed once.
Hmm.
So I don't know what like implored me to agree to this shit. But
All right.
and the third time was
Yeah, I got you.
yeah, it
Yeah.
it was for a girl. Yeah.
Yeah, baby.
And I nearly broke my ankle on that one too.
Hey, man, it's worth it.
Oh my god. Bro, nah, I made the worst dating decisions.
Hey, but those
Up in
decisions help build you. I remember there's this comedian I like, Randy Feltface. You probably seen him on iPhone, the puppet guy, and
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
he made
yeah,
a
yeah.
bit about it, right? Where he was like talking about like rejection and dealing with girls, and because he was talking to this guy in the audience. I love when comedians add the audience into the jokes. It makes it more realistic. And
Yeah.
he goes like, "What's your name?" and all that and stuff. He's like, "Tell me, what's your biggest fear? We're all friends. Unpack some shit. Tell us your deepest, darkest fears." And the guy goes, "Rejection." He's like, "Oh my god, rejection from girls? I assume." He's like, "Yep." He's like, I'll tell you what, mate. How old are you?" He's like, 22. He's like, "Ah, yeah. The 20s are the best time to get rejected because you're not set in stone as who you are." He said people don't become who they really are until they're like in their late 30s, and then their personality really starts to develop. He told them, get as many rejections as you can, like their Pokemon cards, collect them all, and then wear them like a champion. And then once you get to like your 30s, like me, you grab whatever's left. That's what you have to look forward to, whatever's left on the table.
Oh man. Yeah,
Freaking
that
love that.
sounds about
I
accurate.
like that guy. He always puts real life lessons into his jokes, you know?
Yeah. No, it's yeah, I mean it's what are you gonna do? I'm
I mean,
honestly
like, how old are
great
you? You're
place to
still in
vent.
college. I'm still in
I
college.
actually just turned 21 a few weeks ago.
I just turned 19 like 2 months ago, right?
Oh,
Like,
there we go.
like I get so annoyed, and people have told me I'm mature for my age, but I don't believe it. I feel like they just say that because I just say grown up things because they're just facts. I don't say them to like be mature. I say them like, this is a fact. People that are like in middle school, high school, or college that think they're developed as a person, no, you're not. I promise you, you are not going to be thinking like the way you
Peop
are in 5 to 10 years. I like.
yeah,
Do you?
people
How do you not remember middle school? Like, do you remember yourself in middle school?
Oh, bro, I remember myself in middle school.
Do you
I
remember
was
how
the
cocky you were? Where you thought you knew how the world worked?
Yes, oh my god, that cocky pre-tween teen
Yeah.
bullshit face. Oh my god.
Like, and you're still in it. You're just less cocky because you understand the whole point of, I feel like, middle school for mental development is you're as cocky as it gets. High school, you're less cocky because you're understanding your mistakes from middle school. College, you're even less
and regretting
cocky.
them.
In college, you're even less cocky because you're understanding your mistakes from high school. And then once you're out of college is when you start to understand how the real world develops. Because now you understood your mistakes from college, high school, and middle school. You started understanding how the real world works with like getting jobs, how other adults function. You're at that point now where like, how many years do you have left in college? If you can put a number on it.
Fuck. Let me think. Uh, yeah, I got a year and a half left.
Isn't it
5 year
crazy to
program.
you that in less than 2 years, you're now viewable as marriageable? Like, isn't that crazy
I'll
to you?
have you know, I actually already have 4 wives
All right, bro.
and one husband, but we
I'm
don't talk about
I'm
him.
the Middle Eastern guy. That's my bit. All right. But isn't that funny
Hey
to you?
man.
Like, hey, in 2 years, other people will start looking at
God.
you as I can marry him. I can settle now. Of course, you can get
Yeah.
married in college. It happens, but that's rare.
Yeah,
You
I mean,
like that's such a fun experience. You are now
it's so.
marriageable.
Yeah, Jesus Christ. No, I mean that's. Yeah, it's just wild. I mean, yeah, it's just so crazy too, because it's you could consider me marriageable, but my life is still so
Not ready.
unstable. Like right now, I am in a foreign country
Yep.
on a student visa with a study permit,
Mhm.
but I want to live here. But Quebec is so I don't know how much you know about Quebec. They want to be their own country. They take French very, very seriously. Um, they low key still try to assimilate people, but
Yep.
anyways, um, if I want to like live here and gain citizenship and all that shit, I need to learn French. Like I don't think they'd let me stay here without learning
Yeah, they're
French.
very prideful of their French. They will make you learn it, especially if you
And
work
like
in
I'm
business.
yeah, and I'm not opposed to it. Like I was taking extra courses for my first 2 years to finish a 5 year program in 4 years
Mhm.
because I just wanted to. I'm an American. For me, college is 4 fucking years. Like I took a 5 year program and I was like, no.
No bueno.
Um, but yeah, so oh, holy shit, I totally just lost my train of thought, man.
Learning French in business.
Yeah, sorry. Um, but yeah, so like I wasn't taking French up until now, and I mean it's fucking hard.
French is bullshit. I'm saying that now for the
French is
audience.
fucking dude. Oh
I
my
took
god, it's so
German in
hard.
high school. That was the
I so
easiest
did
thing
I.
of my fucking life. Cause you know why? Unlike English and French, there's like no silent letters in German. If you sound out a word, that's how it's spelled. There's no ifs, ands, or buts about it. Dine. Alright, DEIN. Perfect. Done. Done. So
Yeah, exactly. Like all you need to
They
know.
look at you dead in
Yeah.
the eyes. Alright, spell the word dine in English. Alright. DEIN? No, you missed the silent letters. It's DEZXW337IN.
Yeah, exactly. And I mean, France is the worst offender. Like the
Oh
number
yeah.
of times I've made it. So I think the biggest mistake is that usually you don't sound out the last letter in the word.
Yeah.
So there have been times where I hear something where I hear it, right? So the
Mm-hmm.
last letter's already dropped off, and then I need to repeat it at some point down the line, and I was like, wait, is that the spelling? Or was that how it sounded? Was the letter already dropped? And then I drop another letter off, thus making it like incorrect. Like, and it's just because of the fact that you have to drop the last letter and remember that, but sometimes you don't. It's just so complicated.
Yeah. Like I know in France the number two do has like a Z in it. What is that?
Yeah.
Z or an X? Which one was it?
Uh, which
The
it
number two.
depends. Oh, the number two.
Yeah.
Holy shit! I'm like, I think so. Yeah, I believe it's
Like
due.
that, and it's pronounced do, but it's written with a Z in it. I'm looking at like why, why? What made you want this?
Yeah, I don't know. And then like the later you get into like the later you get into numbers, like for example, like like 80 is just like Katzveng, which is just like 420s.
What the fuck?
Yeah, it's yeah. Also, wait, sorry, you were asking about the one with like the Z at the end. You were thinking it too?
Yeah.
Okay, I knew why I was confused for a second because I was like, I know you're saying do, and I know that's right, but I can't remember Z. It's an X, not a Z.
X. I knew
It's
it was
like,
one or the other, which is still bullshit either way.
yeah,
Like,
yeah.
why?
Five is spelled Cinq, and it's pronounced Sank. Well, song, but a bad American pronunciation. But like once you get into like the later numbers, it gets really bad. If I remember correctly, like 90 is Kashavang D, which is just 420's 10. And then it goes 420's 11, 420's 12. Like it's bizarre.
Bullshit.
It's yeah, it's you know, but it just goes back to like what we were saying about how like I might be considered marriageable. It's like I don't even know if I can fucking end up here. I don't even know if I'm gonna be capable of learning French. Like
I mean, doesn't
I
mean
have a
you're
friend who
marriageable there. You know, marriage can happen anywhere.
yeah, true. I mean, honestly, most of the bilingual people, well, at least younger generation bilingual people, they prefer English and they say that learning French and English as a kid, like when you live in Quebec, if you have kids and you send them to school, you're required by law to send them to like a French school, at least when they're younger.
Yeah, because they need to know French.
Yeah. So, but then like they all come out and they're like, "Yeah, I'm really bad at French though because I learned it bilingually, so I
Yeah.
just use English."
It's different though if you grow up in the household of it. Like, I'm Middle Eastern, but I was raised English at first. Then once I turned like 5, 6 years old, they started slowly teaching me Arabic, and but they taught me Fusha, which is, or I'm sorry, non-Fusha. Fusha means formal, and non-Fusha just means informal Arabic. You know, slang. So like the thing about Fusha is, Iraq, Yemen, and Lebanon, right? The big
Hmm.
three. They all speak Arabic, but they don't speak the same Arabic. So that's why we have Fusha. Fusha is the same dialects shared by all three.
And it's informal.
That's
Or
formal.
that's the formal. That's the
Yeah.
formal. Okay, got it.
But the thing about Fusha, which is weird to me, specifically me, is just because I wasn't raised on it. So like in college, I need to take two language classes. I'm like, I'll take Arabic. I know Arabic. They teach you Fusha. They don't teach you non-Fusha. They teach you the formal way. So they're saying words in there like I have no idea because it's pretty much a different language. Almost none of the words are similar. The writing is similar. The letters are the same, but all the words are different. What's a good example? Like computer. I would say computre for Arabic, but then in Fusha it's like Zahar Shafur. I'm like, what the fuck? That's bullshit.
Hey
Uh,
man, that's just how it is. Apparently, like Quebec, Quebecois French and France French are quite different in terms of pronunciation, dialects. Like apparently, if you're Quebecois and go to France, they struggle to understand you,
Probably.
which which is wild. Like literally, there are like entire words that are spelled exactly the same, and for some reason, Quebec just pronounces them differently.
Yeah, they're like, no, I don't wanna. What are you gonna do about it?
But they also have a lot of individual words, which means that you can't use a translator because there's no like Quebecois translations out there or no official ones. So sometimes you just can't translate a word properly. So you need to know it because you won't be able to find it online.
Yeah, like, and that's the thing about formal Arabic too. In Arabic, we have these like little symbols that will go above letters and above words and below them, right? You can't put that into Google
Yeah.
Translate. Google Translate does not use those special characters. So it'll
Oh,
tell you the
true.
right word, but you still need to know the special characters. Also, to be a different word.
Oh, that's true. Yeah,
Like
anything
in
with
like in
characters is always
German,
super complicated.
like in German, they have the two dots that go above them.
Yeah, the umlaut.
The umlauts, yeah. 'Cause I forget what the umlauts even do. Doesn't it like stretch the letters? Like that?
Ooh, so like instead of it's ooh, so
Yeah,
like
like stretches.
übe.
It's like you have two of that letter.
Yeah, I took a few years of German too, but
I only
you
took
know,
2 years only because that's all
same.
it took for. I wish I did the third year because I didn't know. Apparently, for college, if you took 3 years, it counts as you don't have to take it anymore in college. I didn't know that.
Yeah, I switched around languages a lot. I did Spanish for 3 years, then I did a year of Latin, a year of Mandarin, 2 years of German, and then I switched to French when I decided I was gonna come to Montreal.
I couldn't.
So yeah, so in other words, I got absolutely jack shit out of all of those languages.
What are you gonna do? You know?
Yeah, bro. Now I'll just randomly like when I'm trying to learn French, I'll forget a word and I'll just say whatever word comes into my head first. And sometimes it's German and sometimes it's Spanish. Like I'll need to say and in French and my brain just fucks up and I just say und and I'm like, what?
And
What did I just say? So,
yeah, I mean
but
that's
yeah,
just part of it. You know?
yeah,
That's
man,
a
it's a
that's the
process.
tricky part of it. A lot of people end up confusing themselves sometimes because of the they what's the word I'm thinking of? They try too much.
Yeah,
And that's a real
I'm
thing
just
about life, man. Sometimes you put in too much effort and it can hurt you a lot more than it could help you.
yeah, no, you're not wrong about that. I've felt that many times before.
Oh my
It,
god,
yeah.
especially when it comes to languages.
Ugh. Languages are just always brutal. I don't know how there are those people who can just learn like 30 languages, no problem.
Honestly, I wouldn't even say it was no problem. It's just they have fun doing it. You know, like some people are just up for a challenge, which is still bullshit. But who am I to say what they can't have fun with? You know?
Yeah, for sure. I agree. It's oh my gosh, man. I just
I don't know. Life is just weird as shit, bro.
yeah, life is really crazy. And it's only gotten crazier and my life has felt like it's fucking developed in ways I would have never expected in the last 2 years.
Yeah.
And crazily have to thank COVID for that partially.
Mm,
Helped me man the fuck up and mature and learn how to do a lot of shit, like set up my own appointments and pay a lease and like all
yeah.
these things I wasn't expecting to have to do yet.
Bro, I don't know what it is about me, man. But no matter how much I grow up, I still hate setting up my own appointments.
Bro, I don't mind that as much. I hate paying bills. I always get freaked out paying bills. I'm worried I'm gonna fuck some shit up and
Like you miss a
get my
number or
power
some
cut.
shit.
Yeah, and I get my power cut.
Yeah, I mean that's why some companies have been making it easier though lately. Like like some electric companies, they'll just have it on a routine where it's just like you link it to your bank account. They'll take how much you owe, and they'll send you a receipt, and then you overview the receipt to make sure they took the right amount and you didn't get overcharged.
Yeah.
Like I like that. Keep it at that.
Yeah, for real.
Like especially like oh my god, with taxes, you owe money. How much? Figure it out. And if you get it
Bro.
wrong, you go into jail. Unless you want to
Now a
pay someone like TurboTax, huh?
yeah,
You
it
want to
is
pay
now a
to know
bad
how much you have to pay us?
yeah. It's now a bad time to mention that my Steam username for the longest time has been I am going to commit tax fraud.
Ha. I like those
Yeah.
games. They're creative.
Yeah, for a while my profile picture was I just drew fuck the IRS on a piece of paper with crayon, took a picture of it and made it my profile picture for like a year.
Hey, at least no one else can say they have that same picture.
Exactly. It was essentially my very own NFT.
Don't even get me started, bro. They're so stupid.
It's just money laundering.
Yeah. Oh yeah, definitely. It's just. I mean,
Like why the fuck else?
I think the prime example of money laundering is like art, because art is just one money laundering scheme now. Because you know how
Yeah.
it works, right? Like a millionaire will tell an artist, "I'll give you $30,000, paint me something." The guy will
Yep.
paint
Get
it,
the appraiser.
and then he'll pay the appraiser 10 grand. Say this is worth 500 grand. It's worth 500 grand. Cool. I'm donating this painting to a museum now. Donates it for 500 grand, and that counts as a $500,000 write off on their taxes because they quote unquote donated $500,000. So now
People
they don't
or
have to
rich
pay anything
people
for the
stay
taxes.
not paying taxes.
Yep. I mean, I can't lie. If I was rich, I would probably do it too. Cause fuck it, fuck the government. But what I don't like about the government is, well, the rich didn't pay it, so now you guys have to pay it to make up for it. Like, whoa, what? What do you mean? I ain't got nothing to do with
Yeah,
that.
that's yeah, no. Very interesting though, seeing Elon tweeting about how he's paying 11 billion in taxes this year.
11 billion. I mean, he did make a shit ton. Didn't he make like over $100 billion? That's 11%. That does make sense.
I mean, you can look it up to verify, but I'm 99% sure I'm right on that.
You know what's funny about Elon? As much shit as he gets, he does know how to work the system.
He's a genius.
Yeah. Like, cause like I remember like the United Nations were like Elon Musk could like easily pay to end world hunger, and he literally goes, "I'll write the check. What's the plan?" And like no
Yeah.
response.
Oh yeah, no, of course not.
Like he was literally like, "All right, you know what? You're right. I'll do it. How do you want me to do it? Huh?
And you have to show me how you spend all the money.
Yep. I want a receipt of everything, and I'll do it." And they're like, "No, no, no. You see, we wanted to give some of the money to Israel, though."
Ooh.
I mean,
Ooh.
what? Oh yeah,
We're going there.
we get into touchy topics here, bro. I'm not
Yeah.
saying the U.S. government can't help other people, but don't lie about it. You know,
Yeah, that's pretty fair.
like what was it they said? Like with that bill they signed for the COVID Act 2, where they sent the 600 to all the U.S. citizens. What they send like $16 million to gender studies in Iraq or whatever it was.
Yeah. Is it Iraq, Pakistan? One of those.
Something like that was just dumb to me, man. Like really,
What does that mean?
gender studies.
Yeah.
In short, it's stuff like it's just stuff to help transgenders and equal shit like that. Help the LGBTQ in the Middle East, like allow them to get equal education and shit like that. Which I'm
Look,
okay
I
with that. You want to help them, go for
yeah.
it. But I don't think now is really a
That
good
exactly. I was
time.
about to say. I was gonna say I have no problem with that, but like, do you really think that's the most pressing issue in Iraq right
Like,
now?
weren't y'all saying thousands and thousands of people are dying every week because of COVID? Why am I worried about that transgender person trying to get into college right now? Like,
Yeah.
I'm not saying you shouldn't help them, but there's a time and a place, and this ain't the time
Yeah.
or the place.
Yeah. I'm glad I don't have to deal with American politics anymore. If I went back to live in the U.S., I would definitely strap up, no doubt.
Oh my god! Like, I live in the
No doubt
U.S.
about that, bro.
I'm a very patriotic person. I'll stand on that hill. God bless the fucking U.S. and what it stands for, right? But like, it sounds like a drug, but it's not hitting the same, you know. The U.S. ain't what it
I
used to be.
It's not at the end of the day, I left because of the political division,
Yep.
the growing crime and violence and danger and you know,
Yeah.
my parents are trying to do the same. They also really like Montreal and they want to like move to Canada. And I mean
I mean,
they
Canada's
love
a
the
nice
US.
place. My only issue is just the taxes are a bit higher. But
Oh my god, I pay 15% sales tax.
15. That's literally more
Yeah.
than double Michigan. Michigan is 6%.
Yeah, it's I can't remember. It's either 10% country and 5% provincial, but I think it's 5% country and 10% provincial.
Yeah. Like, I remember I
We have
used
a
to work as
PS.
a
Yeah.
firework tent when I was in high school as like a side job, which is still illegal. I'm not allowed to work at there. You have to be 21. But
Yeah,
fuck
I was
it,
gonna say, wait a second. Yeah, why
my
not? Who
uncle
cares?
worked
Fuck you.
there, so he never, so he would get paid my part and just give it to me when we got home.
That's
So
amazing.
yeah, because I mean, he knew the guy that owned the tent. They were buddies. So like, whenever a cop would come, he's like, "You work here?" I'm like, "No, I'm just hanging out with my uncle for the day." And like, we couldn't do anything. I'm not lighting any fireworks or anything like that. I'm literally
And you're
just,
not underwage.
yeah. Like I literally can just tell him I'm just hanging around. I'm allowed to do that. A 10
Yeah,
year old can walk into a fire tent and just say I'm just hanging around, and he can do that legally
yeah, he ain't
as long
loitering.
as he's not setting up a firework, and as long as there's no sign that says no loitering. This is private property. Go crazy, my guy.
Yeah.
But what was
Yeah.
I getting at? Yeah, taxes for fireworks are 12%, because 6% for the Michigan tax, and 6% because that other 6% went to the fire department, which is fine.
Makes sense. Makes sense.
I mean, what are you gonna do? Oh my
Yeah,
god.
no, taxes are fucking.
Yeah, but then like people are like, oh, taxes are should be illegal. All right, cool. You pay for the schools.
Yeah.
No, you don't want to pay. All right, cool. Taxes. Like I get you don't want to pay them,
I shall
but
fill
like
my streets' own potholes, and the people shall pay me.
yes, aha. Oh my god, it's just taxes are needed. Too much taxes is not needed, but the problem is like the government is just wasting so much money that people are getting mad about taxes and think they shouldn't exist at all now. You know,
Yeah.
like if the government was responsible with the money they were getting
Ha!
from taxes, no one would be complaining about taxes. I'll put money on it that if the government spent all of our taxes properly and didn't pay everyone that works in the government like $150,000 a year, which is fucking stupid to me, people wouldn't be getting as
Yeah.
mad. Like people in Congress, they making at least six digits a year. Why? Why? They don't deserve that much. They don't.
No, they don't. If I
80K,
knew how much a
sure.
politician makes when I was a kid, I would have gotten into politics, bruh.
80K a year is like what a politician should be making. And even that's stretching it.
Yeah, I would say somewhere between 70 and 80K.
Yeah,
A livable, but higher than livable. Like,
that's
I get
upper
part of the
middle
reason.
class.
Exactly, and that's what they should be at that level. Because you know what? At the end of the day, it takes education and it takes a lot of career building as a
Not to
politician to
mention,
get to the level.
not to
Yeah,
mention, a politician is supposed to be a representative of the people. You really lose the ideology of the common man when you're not paid a common man's salary. You know, like oh my god, like I
exactly.
remember back in the 2016 election, Hillary versus Trump, where Hillary
Oh,
Clinton was trying to prove that she was a woman of the people. So she went to the house of middle class people, and like she was like surprised that middle class people lived in apartments. They didn't really own houses. The people that own houses that are middle class, I promise you, took out a loan. I promise you.
yeah, exactly.
If you want to be middle class and not have to live in debt, you have an apartment. You're renting. Because once you get into
Yeah,
like $80,000, $70,000 a year, you're no longer middle class. You're upper middle class now. Middle class is like 50 grand to 60 grand. 40 grand is like lower middle class, and then 30 and below is lower class, you know? I think those are
yeah.
fair numbers. But then she's like super surprised that like these people are living in apartments. Like, yeah. In Michigan, to buy a house is like 170 grand. That's not pocket change, my guy. That's not a year's
No.
income. That's at least a four. Let's say I didn't spend any money on food, water, rent, clothes, electricity. Let's say I saved every penny from my paychecks, right? And I got paid 50K a year. That's more than 3 years of saving.
Assuming that you didn't need to pay for food.
Yep, no taxes, no clothes, no electricity, no water bill, nothing. Every penny. That's more than 3 years, 50K a year, and that's middle class.
Oh, absolutely.
If you're paying for food, water, electricity, water bills, clothes, rent, taxes, doctor bills, insurance, your saving account gets less than like 15K a year.
Oh, for sure.
And that's stretching it. 15K is super stretching it, you know?
Yeah, agreed.
So then what happens? How many years is that? Let's say I make it 150,000 instead of 170. That's still 10 years of saving.
True.
10 years. That's enough for me to go through middle school, high school, and get an associate's degree. Isn't that crazy?
Yeah, it's just wild, man.
But no, Congress get paid 150K a year. Like, that's stupid to me. You
That's
get
too much.
paid triple the middle class, but yet you still claim to be a representation of the middle class. Like, that's dumb. You're not middle. How are you gonna represent the middle class if you're getting paid upper class? You don't understand the middle
For
class
real.
struggles. Like, why do you think schools aren't getting fixed at an efficient pace? Public schools, because upper class people don't go to public schools; they go to private schools. Why do you think healthcare isn't getting fixed, like public healthcare? Because upper class people don't have public healthcare; they have private healthcare. They have insurance.
Yeah.
Like the reason middle and lower class problems don't get fixed is because upper class people and politicians don't think about them because they don't worry about them. They don't have to deal with these issues.
No, you're absolutely right.
Eunice Bazzi, 2024.
Bro, for real.
like I want to go into education. You want to know my game plan? Like my actual game plan?
I want to hear this.
I want to go into education to become a college professor, to work my way up
Interesting.
to dean, to work my way to becoming a mayor. Technically, on my path, high politician roles are on my path because I can go from a dean of school to mayor. That makes a lot of sense. A dean to become mayor. That makes sense. That's
I
in
think
your
so.
field.
I think so.
And from
You gotta
going
keep.
mayor to governor, and it can just only go up. You know. In theory, if I play my cards right, I could be the first Muslim president. It is possible. Of course, it'll
No,
never
it
happen.
absolutely is.
Of course, it'll never happen because at least a third of the country believes the president should be Christian. Like, what if Biden came out right now as atheist? He'd get kicked out of office on spot.
Yeah,
What if he came out as Muslim? Same story. He would not make it because a
he's not
third of
gonna make it anyway, bro.
oh yeah,
Sorry.
he's any day now about to kick that bucket. But that's besides the point.
Ugh. True.
Well, yeah, like as much as I want it to be, a Muslim president will not happen in my lifetime. Maybe in my kids' lifetimes one day. I'd say it could happen within the next century, but it's not going to be me, no matter how hard I try. And that's just the way it is right now, you know?
Yeah.
And that's
No, for real.
unfortunate, but that's just the realism of it. I can be mayor, I can be governor, I can be Congress. Vice president is stretching it, but president is too far out of reach. Because, people still think that all Muslims are terrorists. I want to say at least 10% of the country thinks that. You know?
Yeah. No, I mean, yeah, my friend has not gotten some nice things, and he is not a particularly Muslim-looking man. He's from Turkey, and even in a very diverse place like from Montreal, like he's still.
Get shat on.
It was weird. So, for reference, my friend group is really kind of, I guess, yeah, it's pretty diverse. One of us is from Hong Kong, one of us is from the Democratic Republic of Congo,
Mm-hmm.
one of us is from Turkey, one of us is from the U.S., and one of us is from like Dubai.
Mm.
And I remember that Turkish guy and the guy from Dubai. had like some shit said to them, and I was just thinking, man, like that's wild. Like out of everybody that could have gotten picked on, like not even the guy who could have been singled out, like the like the African guy could have been singled out. He was alone too, but there were
Mhm.
multiple, like Middle Eastern people, and they chose to single them out, and I was just like shocked.
I
They also
feel
didn't know that there was a group of like three other people like right behind them watching them do this. That was fun.
I choose to
But
believe the biggest problem in the country is still separation. It's division.
yeah.
And I choose to believe the media is the reason for it. Not the politics, it's the media, you know? Because
Hmm.
like the Kyle Rittenhouse case, you know? I choose to believe Kyle Rittenhouse was deemed innocent appropriately. Yeah. I completely agree with everything he did on that day, right? He was attacked, he shot the attacker, and that's the story, right? People are like, well, why was he there? It's public ground. He's allowed to be there if he wants to be there. Why was he attacked? You know? That's like saying, well, why were you at the park where the mugger was there? It's a park. It's public. I would like to be at the park. If a guy mugs me at a park, I'm allowed to defend myself there, you know?
Yeah, absolutely.
He didn't have any reason to be there. Neither did the attacker.
Yeah, for real. It yeah, it just I don't know, man.
And
It
then they're
just
like,
doesn't make
well,
sense.
he should have known there were going to be dangerous people. Why? Like, I love when they say that because I can turn that on them so easily. Why should he have known there were dangerous people? Is it because it was the Black Lives Matter riots? Are you saying the people that are involved with those are dangerous people? Is that what you're saying?
Yeah,
Like, you're just cornering yourself with that type of wording. Whew.
absolutely.
Alrighty. I think that's a good place to put it.
Yeah, that sounds
That
good,
was a
man.
good. That was a good hour and some change.
Yeah, man. I know. I saw that going. I was just like, that was wild. I was just trying to keep thinking of things to rattle off on my head. I was just like,
Oh,
man,
word
what's the
vomit,
next
bro.
topic?
All right, man. Any last minute things?
Nah, man. I think I'm all set.
All
I
right.
I think it's cool as hell that you're doing this, bro, and I appreciate you taking the time to talk to me too.
All right, it's
You
my
mind
pleasure, man.
putting like the channel in chat so I can check it out?
Of course, bro. All right, folks. Thank you for joining us, and I'll see who else from the internet I'll have next time. Take care now.